Hello, everyone. Come right in. Come right in. Um, come right in to the Gooner Pavilion. How are you guys doing? Come right in. Come right in. We've got some big news today for the Arsenal, and it is very big. And Edu Gaspar is leaving Arsenal. I'm sure the news is all over the print media and news media already about Edu leaving. And it is a very interesting, time for Arsenal, especially, with that departure. It surprised everyone. I think it's no doubt this is taken, especially us, the fans, it's really taken us by surprise. I'm sure it hasn't taken the club by surprise. They've probably known about it, a couple of days, maybe weeks, someone that significant. I would expect that he was very transparent, to the club and just letting them know, that this was going on. And I think um, it's maybe an indication, of perhaps what, Arsenal might want to do in the January transfer window, if they're making their announcement now. But also, it may just be that it's the fact that he needs to take the opportunity right now, and that's just the way things go. I think first of all we've just got to recognize the contribution that Edu has made to Arsenal. I think it goes without saying. Joined Arsenal in 2019, first as the technical director, and then became the first sporting director for Arsenal. So I think that is a significant achievement, and for someone who is ambitious, I can kind of get the move. I can kind of understand, where he would want to do different things. He's been in Arsenal now, brought some incredible players, to the club. Just looking at, some of the signings, that has happened during his watch. And I know that it is a team effort, but, he's been the face, of those signings. You're talking about the likes of Martinelli, you're talking about Saliba, you're talking about, Declan Rice, you're talking about, Martin Odegaard, you're talking about Ben White, you're talking about Duran Timber, Declan Rice, these are all players that have come in and they've become, really, really important players. And of course, there are players that have not worked so well. I think everyone, remembers David Luiz didn't really work very well. And then we had Willian, that was a disaster. And of course, we can debate, about Pepe, whether Pepe, was part of his signing. I feel like he signed the player, even though a lot of the conversations were done before him. I think, at the end of the day, it was his call because he came in just about when that signing was concluded. So, hey, listen, it is nothing wrong, in having a few busts, as they say, because you can look at, the list of other players, and they were significant. They were significant. If you look at the breakdown of the different players, where they're from, a couple of South American players, a couple of European players, and then a couple of British players, and I think he's done a great job. I think his influence, the fact that he understands Arsenal, he was an Arsenal man. He was someone that had a lot of close ties with the club, even before he became the sporting director. I think that can't be overshadowed, right? And it will be a great loss. I think he will be missed, in the club. And I think there's a lot of emotional connection, between Edu and Arsenal, and also Arteta as well, who would really learn how to work well. You only need to, look at the that documentary on Amazon, right? And you see some of the internal workings, the relationship between him and Ateta, especially during some of those very difficult moments of players excuse me, of players leaving the club. And sometimes they say it's lonely at the top, right? So you sometimes you need someone who you can kind of bounce things around. And I think he's done great for the club. But the question is, why now, right? Why has he left Arsenal now? Why is this timing? What's so important about the timing? I mean, all the details are not completely clear, but I think what a lot of the suggestion is that I want to make sure that I don't get his name wrong. So Evangelos Marinakis, seems to be linked. He's a Greek business owner that has a consortium of clubs, including Nottingham Forest and Olympiacos, which is very interesting. And you know how people are going to spin this because Arsenal play Nottingham Forest in a few weeks' time. So that's going to be interesting. To sort of see what happens and what kind of media narrative is going to be spun around that. But you would expect that a club like Arsenal would have had a succession plan in place. There would be a couple of people that would be they would have identified in terms of stepping into that role. It could be someone internally. It could also be someone external as well. I think with the club that Arsenal is more likely it will be an external facing person that comes out, someone that's not in the club. But just being in those senior positions before, I know very well that succession planning is always something that is always talked about. The senior executives, the board, they always want to know who is the person that can step in if something unexpectedly happens to you, especially if you're in a significant position. So I expect the Arsenal have had this sort of succession planning in place. I think Arsenal will have to act very quickly to find a successor. I think the optics are very important, in terms of the smooth transition, and it's always that difficulty between balancing speed, but also making sure that it's right. Making sure that the person that comes in sits very well with the club ethos, with what the club's trying to do, aligns with the strategy. And Arsenal's strategy has been identifying high potential players, and then bringing them in, and then with a few mix of some experienced players as well to keep that balance. But it certainly, there's been a lot of focus on getting youth into the team. At some point when we're going for the title, we were the youngest team in the Premier League at that time, and would have been the youngest team if we had won. But what do you guys think about this announcement? How are you guys feeling about this announcement? I think we give him his flowers. Are you upset, that he's leaving, especially with all the things that are going on? Arsenal not in it's not. I mean, you want to be, say, well, we're not exactly in the best of moments, right? So it just feels like it's another negative news that is coming out of it. But I think he's leaving the club in a stronger position, no doubt. I think it would be fair to say that, even with the transfer dealings, Arsenal never really got as much money coming in as we spent out. I think that's an area that we can improve, so potentially the new person, can do that. So, there's always areas of improvement. It's not perfect. We still, lost some players that you might want to keep. There's a story about, Chido Martin that went to Manchester United. That's also under, Edu's watch. Could there have been something that would have been done to aid his development in Arsenal and, keep him progressing, and potentially Arsenal reaps the benefit of that? So listen, it feels like it's a dark day, but at the same time, I think that, with things like this, it means that there's an opportunity for somebody else to come and step up, and, take Arsenal over the line. It'll be a shame though, because I'm sure, he would have wanted to be associated, with Arsenal winning the league, especially, if for him who was won the league as well as a player, it would have been, I would have imagined that, that would have played a part in his mind. But, the fact that he decided to go, it means that this opportunity was really, really good. And listen, there's no doubt about it. It has to be economically good as well, and there are rumors about that being the case. But I think that he's also someone that, is very ambitious. And Arsenal will survive without him. I think that's the key thing here at Gooners. I think we will survive without him. And then there's nothing anyone needs to do now. Arsenal can't buy players. None of all that, is going to happen until the January, transfer window potentially, and maybe the summer. And there's enough time, to put something in place, put someone in place, and start working towards that. So hey guys, let me know what you think. Don't forget to leave a comment on the way out as well. If you watch to the end of this video, remember this is Gooner Pavilion. We're just starting. I do want to acknowledge all the people who have just joined the channel. Welcome to all of you. I see all of you as well. I'll be giving personal shout outs to all the people that have subscribed to the channel as well. Appreciate all of you. We can't do this thing without you guys. We need to create this family. So I need to see a few of you guys putting stuff in the comments as well, putting a like as well. Just letting us know how you found the Gooner community, and how you're gonna help us build this thing, right? Remember, come for the Arsenal and stay for the family. I'll see you in the next one.